Oh, man.
Hey, old man on the mat crew. This is Tony Jones coming at you with another great episode of Old Man on the Mat. Guys, I know, don't even get on me. I know I say I'm excited all the time. Guess what? I'm very excited, man. As I always say, man, if you're not excited about something, what are you living for, right? So, guys, as you know, with our platform, I like to say this in the beginning, so some people who are coming on new to understand what we're doing here, they can understand what we're trying to do. We're basically just trying to find people in our age group. Some are younger, some are older, but still out there making life happen. Because everyone has challenges, no matter what. We're still out there trying to make life happen, and I believe that we all have something to offer other people out there. We try our best to give to ourselves. So, hey, I'm excited about today's guest because we're talking to someone on the other side of the world. And I learned some things real quick that I'm really disappointed about. So I don't think I'm going to that country now because there are no kangaroos everywhere. but with that, we have someone from Melbourne, Australia, and this is Mercy Sozan. How are you, girl?
Hi, I'm good.
You good
Yeah,
or great?
I'm great.
Good. Man, you know, when we were talking a little bit ago, you're talking about there's no kangaroos and everything
Nope,
running around. Man, so you don't have anybody walk around saying, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Remember that
absolutely
movie?
not. The last time I saw a kangaroo was when I was in the Defence Force, and they are scary. And
Really?
yes, and there are so many of them around, and we were told if you see any of them, you just shoot.
What? Oh,
because
the poor kangaroos.
because they were like a pest. There were just so many. But I was in a Defence Force, and it was in the 90s, so there
Wow.
was just so many of them around, and they are really, really scary. I
Really?
remember I remember walking out of the barracks, and our showers and toilets were kind of really far out, and I was by myself, and you know, you're assigned a rifle and you got your gears, and wherever you go, your rifle went with you, like that was your baby. So
Right.
you went to the toilet, you had your rifle. You went in the shower, you had a rifle stand.
Oh, man. Wow. Wow.
So I remember going to the showers, to the toilets, and I'm kind of walking along, and I sensed something behind me, and I thought, what is that? And I turn around. There's like 3 or 4 kangaroos
Oh, my
just
God.
bouncing back behind. I've never felt, because I'm not used to it. As I said to you, Tony, I was born and raised in Melbourne, and it's just in a city. We've got buildings, and
Wow. Oh, man.
we've got shopping centres, as you guys call it, the mall.
Yep.
So it was a frightening experience for
Oh,
me.
my God. Did you shoot him? Or did you take off running?
Oh God! Well, we're kind of like we're given like ammo, which is like within 50 meters you can do some damage with it,
Okay.
but beyond that you can't. But yeah, but
Okay.
anything to protect yourself, and you know how people say that koalas are cute. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I remember being out in the field, and we were camping, and this was my first time that I had experienced it. And I was with a soldier, and I was walking, and I thought, oh, what is that terrible noise? It was like this growling, scary noise.
What?
Yeah, it was like this. It was like almost really, uh, like from a horror movie, and you were in the dark woods. And he said, "Oh,
What?
that's koala." And I thought, "You're kidding." And I thought,
What?
everyone thinks of them being these cute little, koala. He said, "Oh no, they're vicious. Once they get their claws on you, they'll rip your legs in to
What? A
shreds."
little cute koala bear? Oh,
Exactly.
my God.
You got to hear the noises that they make, especially at night times. It was quite terrifying.
Wow. So you're not a country girl, or you just live out in the city? Huh?
No, I'm not a country girl. So when I was in the Defence Force, I did experience all that country lifestyle. But it
Oh,
was
we had you enough of it already, huh?
it was fun. It was a memorable time in my life. So yeah.
Wow. How long were you in the Defense Force?
Um, for about probably about 6, 7 years.
Oh, wow.
What I really wanted to do was get into the military police. I've always been this type of person that I've always been quite driven, and once I put my mind onto something, it's like I've got to do this. I've got to achieve it.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to get into the police force, and then I had a friend that was a soldier, and he said, "Oh, you've got to go into the Defence Force, the career opportunities, travelling, the pay, medical
Yeah.
care, and all of these things." And I thought, I'll try out for the military police.
Yeah.
So I got in contact with the military police unit, and, everything went well. I had my interview with the unit, their captain there, had a good rapport with him. And then eventually, when I had my psych assessment and my entrance examination, what they kind of said to me was, we would prefer you to get experience elsewhere in the Defence Force. Then in the future, you can go into the military police because it's such a specialised area.
Okay.
It's not kind of good as a young person, as a civilian, just going into the military police. You've got to have some form of experience
Oh, yeah.
within the Defence Force to go into the military police.
Okay.
So, because I've always liked engineering and physics and so on, and I did do a little bit of mechanical engineering, I thought, why don't I get into RAME, which is Royal Australian Electrical Mechanical Engineers. So
Right.
I actually got in there, and we were a small unit that was supporting a transport company. So being the only female within the unit, it was amazing because I got so much support, and the respect that I received was
Oh, man.
amazing. It was like the only female amongst like 10 guys. But
Oh, man. Were you intimidated and stuff like that, or no?
oh, absolutely not. I was treated, with the utmost respect, and my sergeant and my captain were always looking out for me.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, you would get, like, every time I would be at my desk, you would always get the odd, guy coming up and just looking at me and say, "Oh, we just want to look into your lazy brown eyes."
Oh, my gosh. Oh, no.
And, if they slipped out a swear word, the sergeant used to say, "Oh, get down and give me, 100 push-ups." But if only they knew that I could swear too.
Oh, my gosh. You swore like a sailor and they didn't even let you
Oh,
do it.
yes. Oh, yes. I still can, but,
Oh, my God.
I'm at that age where I can control my swearing.
We're at this age, we're supposed to just let it fly. We don't care anymore at this age. You're like, whatever, let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Oh, man.
as I said, yeah, it was a memorable time in my life, and my approach in the Defence Force was the way I survived during my training and everything else was to
Mhm.
not take anything too personal, because I saw so many people break down
Okay.
and quit, and a lot of women did, and some, you would get the odd male too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they would take it so personal. What I used to say to myself is, if the drill sergeant used to go off, I used to say, he's only doing his job. He's only doing his job.
Yeah.
He's getting paid for this. He's getting paid for this. And you know what? When I completed my training and we were having drinks, it was like your best buddy. And at the end
Oh,
of
man.
exactly, at the end of the day, he was doing his job. Do you know what
Right.
I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
there wasn't a time I did not cry. I didn't go to my room and, feel sorry for myself.
Break down and cry.
Yes, I was battered and bruised. And
Yeah.
and there was one female sergeant, she had it in for me for some reason. I
Really? No sister power or nothing like that? Unity?
No, no, she just had it in for me for some reason. And we named her Morticia. She had it she had her hair and she had that, that middle part.
Yes.
And she always had this, like this grumpy look to her for some reason.
Oh
Maybe,
my gosh.
maybe because she couldn't break me down. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why she had it in for me. And one night one day we were out in the field and we were in the range and we were doing practice target shooting. So what happens is when you get back, you have to thoroughly clean your weapon. So we're trained to basically strip it apart, clean every part, then put it back together and make sure you go through it thoroughly.
Oh
So
yeah.
once you return your weapon, they'll inspect it and then it's put away. So, I spent hours doing that and it was so late and I was exhausted, but I made sure that it was really well cleaned. And
Yeah.
she was there, made sure it was clean, went there, gave her my rifle. She looked at it, she said, "Nah, still dirty. Go
What?
back." Yep.
Oh
She said, "Nah,
man.
still dirty. Go back, clean it." And you know what? It was sparkling clean. But
Wow.
I'm not going to argue.
So you just went back and cleaned it again.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
But you know what? It was fun.
It was fun. Okay.
The
You said
fun,
you were in there for 6 or 7 years?
yeah, well, the fun times outweighed all the hard times too.
Oh, I get it. I get it. You had to go through some things. You have fond memories of those days.
Absolutely. And while I was there, I might have mentioned to you, but I've I had some eating issues that I grew up within a kind of family. My mother was very, very supportive. My parents migrated from Turkey in the 60s, so my brother and sister were quite young. I
Okay.
was born here. I was the only one born here, so first generation Australian.
Oh, wow.
But still, I think at that time, of the 60s, that's when all of the Italians, Turkish, and Greek immigrants were coming to Australia because they were looking for skilled workers. And
Mhm.
I know at that time, the good thing is my father knew how to speak English because my father worked at an American base in the Defence Force in Turkey. So
Okay.
when he was in the army, he worked for an American base. So my father knew how to speak English, and I remember my mum was telling me, your dad said, there's this country, Australia, it's got good opportunities for our children and for us. And my mum was like, I don't want to leave my mum, and stuff.
Oh.
But
Oh.
eventually they came here. But my father, now when we look back at it, my father had some mental health issues.
Okay.
So we kind of grew up in a family where there was a lot of childhood trauma.
Okay.
So
Like what
it,
type of trauma, if you don't mind me asking?
it was a lot of verbal and physical abuse, and that mainly came from my father, not so
Okay.
much my mother.
Okay.
So because he wasn't mentally there, it was always like this love hate. I mean, not so much a love hate. Like one minute he'll be upset with you, and the next minute he'll try and hug you and kiss you.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's why, for me personally, I get very uncomfortable when people kind of get upset at me, and the next minute they tell me they love me. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of back away from that because it makes me feel very, very uncomfortable because it doesn't feel genuine.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and my father was quite a hard, tough man. Like, when I wanted to do something in life, because I was quite a driven a girl, I wanted it, this is what I want to do with my life, this is what I want to
Mm-hmm.
achieve. I'd always go to my dad and say, hey, dad, I want to join the police force, or, I want to get into engineering. And he wouldn't be like, oh, I'm so proud of you, you can do it. He would turn around and say to me, no, 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 go do it, achieve it, then come and tell me about it.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Wow. That's a fire under you then. Wow. That's okay.
he was one of these, tough Turkish men, but you know, us Turkish women, we're very strong women. Like, we're not mouthy like other
Yeah.
cultures.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of very independent, strong women,
Mm-hmm.
but we're very loving at the same time. But you wouldn't want to kind of get on the wrong side. But not in the way. I mean, with us, it's not just about. We're more action than words. Us Turkish
Okay.
women. Do you know
Okay.
what I mean?
Oh
You know,
yeah, I know exactly what
yeah.
you mean. Yeah.
My mother is my biggest role model. Like, my father left us when we were
Hmm.
quite young.
Oh
So
wow.
my mother worked. She had 3 children, put us through school, fed us, clothed us, paid off the mortgage to the house that we live in.
Wow.
We live in a city, mind you, it's very, very expensive living in the
Wow.
city. Like, if we moved out of suburbs, yes. But my mum was saying, I'm not going to move out of suburbs because of the crime rate, my kids getting involved with the wrong crowds, or, you know,
Yeah.
she looked out for us, and my mum's my inspiration. That's where I get my drive. She
Oh
she always
wow.
said she always said to me, Mercy, in life you cannot rely on others. You've got to do it yourself.
Hey, amen.
And
Amen. That's the
and
truth.
and that's how us Turkish women are. We kind of go do it, but at the same time we're very loyal and loving, especially when it comes to our partners and our
Yeah.
children. Like,
Okay.
when it comes to our husbands, we would cook for them, we would clean. If our husband,
Really? Holy
yes,
cow.
like if our
Okay.
husband's a provider, um, and for instance, I wasn't working, and your husband works, like, we would cook for them, clean for them, do their
Yeah.
laundry and this and that, because
Ooh, that's
you know,
pretty cool.
and for me, I can see the logic behind that.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that at all.
There's nothing wrong with that. I know how,
Yeah.
nowadays women are like, oh, hell no. But for me, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it
If a
does.
I
It
mean, if
really does.
I mean, you know, people don't realize that men have it really, really hard. I mean,
Yeah.
Women complain nowadays, thinking that you know um, women have got it hard. Hell no. Men suffer all the time. Men wake up early, go to
Hmm.
do hard work. Some men are working on construction sites,
Yep.
exposed to so many environmental dangers,
Oh
um,
yeah.
on work sites, and you know sitting there and providing for their families, putting their kids through school and so on, and then coming home and then dealing with a nagging wife.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, you are right on. I'm telling you, because it must be like you're saying, it must be that culture different. Because I know I won't say all American women are like are
No, no,
not into
I
that,
don't
but
want to. I
it's a
don't
great
want
deal of
to.
women in the United States that's not into that stuff at all. They're independent women. They don't need no man. You know what I
Well,
mean?
there are some women in Australia that are like that too. I'm not
Yeah.
speaking for all women. I mean,
Yeah.
there are women in Australia like that too. This is my personal opinion, because I was I was very close to my brother, and I've had
Yeah.
a lot of close male friends in my life. So I know what my male friends have gone through, and I can see
Mm-hmm.
that. So I'm all for supporting men and men's mental health and so on. My brother went through a terrible divorce,
Hmm.
lost contact with his daughter, and his wife kicked him to the curb.
Oh
And I
my
said,
gosh.
and he's such a wonderful man. He's so loving, so gentle. He would give the clothes off his back to his friends or whatever.
Wow.
Even when my brother was struggling, with depression because of that. And if I
Yeah.
go there, he would just hug me and kiss me and just want to know how I am, and would forget
Oh.
about, his problems. He's just that.
Yeah.
So my love to all the men.
You need to write a book. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do next. Write a book. For
Oh, yeah,
real.
yeah. I changed the subject, didn't I? I was
No,
talking.
that's okay. Flow, girl.
No, I was talking about about my child. Apart from my dad being a tough Turkish man,
Yeah.
um, I could never ever recall my mother speaking back to him. Never,
Really?
never,
Wow.
never.
Wow. That is
Even though
very
he,
unheard of.
even though he physically and verbally abused her, she just
Mm.
kept her mouth shut. And you know what?
Wow.
My father remarried, and I've got 3 half brothers. They
Hmm.
live in Australia, but my father passed away from in the 90s. My father passed away quite young, in his 50s, from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh, wow.
Um, but his wife is such a wonderful lady, and my mother and his wife are best friends.
Are you serious? That's
Yes,
wow.
yes.
Oh,
They
that's
catch up.
awesome.
Yeah, they catch up all the time because they know this is what women have to understand. They shouldn't be against one another. It's got nothing to do with them. Sometimes it could be the man, or it's
Yeah.
my father in this situation wasn't in the right position, and my mother and his wife actually knew that. So yeah, just recently they caught up. Brother my half brother's wife is having a baby, and they had a baby shower, and my mum showed
Oh, wow.
photos. And it's funny because when I heard my father was very, very sick in hospital,
Mm.
at one of our big cancer hospitals in Melbourne. And they said, oh, Mercy, your father's not well, and he's been asking for you. I kind of was upset with my father because of what he did, but at the end of the day, just the type of person I am, I
Hmm.
was thinking, and at that time, when I left the Defence Force, I started my career at one of Melbourne's biggest hospitals, which is St. Vincent's Health in
Oh,
Melbourne.
okay.
So I started a career in in palliative care, so end of life care.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's deep. Ooh. How do you
Yeah,
do that? Wow.
I've done it all.
Oh,
So
man.
I was there for about 13, 14 years. So
Phew.
I was basically admin support for the ward, and
Hmm.
we're a small ward. So even though we were part of St. Vincent's Health, our location was in another suburb, a really nice suburb.
Okay.
It's called Kew, very picturesque, very lovely place. And we
It's
were
called Q.
it's called Kew, and it's a
Okay.
very beautiful suburb. And it was like a 35-bed ward.
Wow.
Um, so I was kind of exposed to, unfortunately, death all the time. And people used to say to me, how could you do something like that? And I
Yeah.
thought, well, if I can't, then who is? Who is going to be
Yeah.
there? For,
Yeah. You know what? That's true. Wow.
who's
Somebody's got to
going
do
to
it.
be there for these kind of people? Our nurses, our patient nurse ratio in Australia is terrible because,
Really?
our palliative care patients can't eat for themselves, bathe for themselves, toilet for themselves. So
Right.
we're having one nurse to 5 patients, right?
What?
So, yes, that's a nurse
Wow.
patient ratio. That's what the government wants. And it's
Wow.
ridiculous, right? So,
Right.
me being there as a support for the unit, I'm the one running around of, oh, if someone needs to be fed, I can do it. Oh, Mercy, this body needs to go today. Can you deal with the funeral directors? Yes. Oh, Mercy, can you make sure the doctors have got the death certificates ready? I'm chasing up the doctors. I was
Oh,
always on my feet.
wow.
I used to clock up like kilometres and kilometres a day. And I forgot to mention during all of this, because of my childhood trauma and so on, I developed an eating disorder as well. So,
And how old
um,
were you then?
how old?
Yeah, when that happened, when you start developing that eating disorder?
Um, it's funny because my eating disorder didn't start till I was in my 20s. And,
Mm.
a lot of people start it earlier on. I'm sure, mentally it was there, but physically it came out in my
Mhm.
20s. So, um, I was someone that always wanted acknowledgement and always wanted to do well. So even at work, I would kind of like go out of my way so I can get a pat on the back from the
Right.
nurse unit manager. Like, even when my shift was over, I would make sure I stay an hour. But don't get me wrong, I actually loved what I did. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so
Now, when you were saying you had the eating disorder, how did it come out? Did just it's because I was always been
well, yeah,
fascinated with those
it,
things. You know.
it's funny because I've always been kind of look. I've always been a fit and active person.
Hmm.
Growing up in the 80s, we didn't have cell phones and, you know, iPads and so on. And as I said, I was always close to my brother. For me, it was climbing trees, riding my BMX bike, climbing my roof. I loved climbing my mum's.
Oh my god!
I used to jump from my house, my roof, to the next.
What?
Oh,
What?
when I think about it, I was crazy.
I would say so. Yeah.
Climb trees, climb over
Uh,
fences, all with my brother because I was very close to him. We just had a great, yeah, And then we used to have this local community club where our neighbour used to run for us kids, and it was like an activity place where there was like trampolines and basketball and my
okay.
brother was really big with basketball and I loved the trampoline doing somersaults and bouncing off the walls and
Oh wow.
and then I would fall off and bruise my
Any broken bones at those times?
funny. I didn't get a broken bone till I was in the army.
Really? I thought you were saying until you started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, then they broke your arm.
No.
Oh man. Wow. So you've been busy.
Yep. And now I'm taking a break because, having an eating disorder for many, many years,
Yeah.
um, I'm going through recovery, which has been really, really good.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's taken so many years, but I've just come to the realization that with an eating disorder, people can try and try and try, but if you don't want to, it's not going to work. It's not going to
Okay.
happen.
Yeah.
No, I had family friends that, you know, sent me to rehab, and I did it because it was just to keep them quiet or to keep them
Okay.
off my back,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I went to a psychiatrist just to basically, but while I was there, in my mind, I'm like, nah, I'm still going to do it. But just, probably 8 or 9 months ago is when I said to myself, I can't do this to my body anymore.
Oh, that's been how many years has that been? You've been fighting this for how many years, though? 20 years, 15 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, were you seeing yourself were you like really skinny? Is that what it is? You were really anorexic or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about, I think the lowest that I was about 30, with Australia, we go by kilograms instead of pounds. So I was about 38 kilograms, the lowest.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's
Yes.
small. Wow.
And
And how tall are you?
I'm not really tall. I'm about 164 to 165 centimeters.
Okay. Okay.
But see, I'm actually quite a solid. Well, not so much solid. I was always like a fit, kind of like a strong looking person. So when I did, like in the army, if you were to see me, I was always like a strong looking fit female. My normal weight was always about 65 to
Okay.
68 kilograms. So can you
Yeah.
imagine going from 68 kilograms that everyone knows you like this strong, solid, muscular girl to about 38 kilograms?
Phew. Man, you had to look like a skeleton. Oh my God.
Yes, and it
Wow.
affected my body. It affected my teeth, my skin, but you know what? I'm so fortunate that it didn't do too much damage. Like I'm so lucky. Like I've had my bones checked and
Oh, good.
everything like that. But you know what saved me, to be quite honest, is discovering jiu-jitsu.
Really? Holy
Mm,
cow. Holy
mm,
cow.
mm. I wouldn't
Wow.
have thought like I was doing taekwondo, but taekwondo for me wasn't stimulating enough. It was too repetitive, you know.
Okay.
You go there, it's like the same old, and each bout level you kind of practice one pattern for each
Right.
bout level. It's
Right.
like
Right.
it's kind of limited. Do you know what I mean?
Nakatas. Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And how long
Yeah,
did you do that?
not for too long, but
Okay.
see, but with I've realised with jiu-jitsu, it's kind of like never ending, isn't it? And it's
Yeah.
just like,
Oh yeah.
it's like completely different. But what happened was someone very close to me said, have you thought about jiu-jitsu? And I went, huh? What? Jiu-jitsu what? And this friend of mine who lives in America, he kind of said, he kind of looked around and saw and looked around and suggested like Carlson, Gracie,
Okay.
Australia. And then I
Yeah.
thought, well, I'll look into it. And I kind of looked at, the top Melbourne jiu-jitsu places. And there was something about Carlson, Gracie Academy in Australia that was quite appealing. And this was last year that I got in contact with Ben Hall. He's the owner of Carlson Gracie Australia, and he has academies overseas as well.
Hmm.
And I've been in contact with him since last year. There was just something about Ben that was so inviting and made me feel so comfortable that even though at that time I was still struggling with my weight, so I could have started last year,
Yeah.
but I started at the start of this year. So,
Okay.
and then I got in contact. So I was, you know, constantly in contact with Ben. And then I thought, at the start of the year, and I said, oh, Ben, can I come in? He said, yeah, just come in. And I said, well, I'll just come into your women's class. And you know what Ben said to me? He said, no. He said, don't just limit yourself to a women's class. We have classes throughout the whole week. You're welcome to do whatever class. And I thought, oh, okay.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just his attitude. And then when I went there was just something about the academy that felt so welcoming and warm.
Yeah.
And there was just something about Ben I just cannot describe. And I remember the first time I started, it was just like, oh yeah, here's a the academy's gi, throw that off. And he just
Yeah.
partnered me up with some blue belt guy, and he said, yeah, okay, you can roll. We're just doing, and like the thing with my academy is there's no such thing as, because we don't have too many white belts there.
Okay.
We have mainly, we have a lot of like blue belts, purple belts, and brown belts. But the thing is, we don't have like beginner, classes. We don't have like white belt classes or blue belt classes. We all get together and work together, but we all have an understanding and support for one another where we work together to help one another in areas that need improving. So when my first day was, I was thrown into the deep end, right?
Yep.
Ben was showing a technique, right? I was handed over to this blue belt guy, and it was like, you show her the technique. I was like, oh, okay. And that was it. And then he passed me on to this other blue belt girl, and he said, oh, just show Mercy the break fall and, just shrimping and stuff like that. And she was like, yeah. And I thought, yeah, I know the break fall because of Taekwondo. Yeah. And and from then onwards, it was just like, and one thing about Ben, he's such a big supporter of women in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's like just full of wisdom. Sometimes I love going in early, and he's someone that just sits on the mat and just observes. He watches carefully. He's just that type of guy, and I have so much respect. Even though he's like a couple of years younger than me, I still have that respect for him like an older brother. I love kind of sitting there listening to his stories. And one story he told me was just blew my mind. And he was telling me, as a young boy, he's from England. He was telling me as a young boy, he went to Brazil and, went to the Carlson Gracie Academy and trained there. So he's very close with Carlson Gracie Jr.
Wow.
I know they do a lot of work together now. But he was saying it was so tough, but I think they saw the potential in him. So he was trained there with the Carlson Gracie family when he was a teenager. So yeah, and he would tell me all these stories, and it's just kind of good just sitting there. But now he doesn't let me go there and sit down and chat with him. He always he always goes, no, you go out there and roll.
You're like, I want to sit here and listen. I don't want to go out.
Yeah, he's just full of, as I said, there's no such thing as, division at my academy. There's, we're all in it together. And I'm aware, nothing's off limits for me when it comes to technique. Especially at night times, my other instructor, Kevin, at night times, he'll always say to me, is there any particular technique you want to learn? Nothing is off limit. Because I'm a type of person that's, I think because of my age, and I'm too mature to be spazzy.
Right? No spazzy white belt. Oh, yeah.
And I'm not a male. Well,
yeah.
The thing is, I'm also aware as a white belt, you do have to be careful,
Yeah, absolutely,
But as I said, when you partner up with someone, they kind of let you know of what to do and how to do it. As I said, we all are very close at the academy. But as I said, in one one class I'll turn up, there might be a black belt, brown belt, and myself,
Yeah.
and we'll all have
Yeah.
to work together. But we
Right. That's
but
pretty
we
cool.
but we don't have enough white belts to run a white belt class or a blue
Okay.
belt. So, but that's what I love about my academy. We're all in there together, and that's why I think as a white belt I've advanced. I don't know if I'm executing the techniques as well, but
Okay.
mentally I've advanced so much when it comes to. But as
You see the techniques better.
Yes, and I think after, close to 6 months, I think now I'm like, "Oh my God, this is starting to make sense. Oh, yes.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
now I can use this technique when I'm rolling. Oh, yeah."
The
You know,
lights
when
start coming on. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we before you would just roll and you're thinking, where is this going? And so now I'm like, oh yeah, here comes the the triangle, or here comes the oh yeah, Kevin taught me the anaconda the other day.
Oh, nice, nice.
or, I love the armbar. That's my favorite.
That's your favorite? I was just gonna ask you, what's your favorite technique now at
Armbar
that level?
would have to be my
Armbar.
favorite. Oh yes,
Okay.
that's my go-to.
Are
And
you able to catch people in it yet?
what's that? I'm sorry.
Are you able to catch anyone in the armbar yet
Oh
during rolling?
yes, yes. I don't know if the guys just let me get away with it though. I think the
I
guys.
don't know.
I think the guys are just too friendly.
Yeah, really? Well, you need to come to our academy. These girls are beating us up over there, man. I call
Oh,
myself going light on some of the girls, and they kill me. And I'm like, I'm not going light anymore. Forget this.
oh no, we've got some. Oh, we've got some girls. I mean, my academy. I mean, Ben's got academies around Australia and overseas.
Okay.
So
Wow.
the Melbourne one isn't. We're not too big, but
Yeah.
we do have I think all up there's probably 10 of us girls, but for one class it would be one of us that turns up
Yeah.
or two of us that turns up, and sometimes in the evening there would be just myself. So
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. I
but I've
get that.
but I've realized my instructor Kevin no longer has that puzzled look on his face when I'm working through my technique anymore.
What is
Initially
she
he
doing?
used
Look.
initially he used to have that puzzled look on his face, and I used to turn around to him. He used to, Kevin's got this unusual personality. It was always like this, like he's 62 or something, and he's
Mm.
really skinny guy, but oh my God, it's like he's deadly. Like
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he knows how to use his little, when they have those bony wrists and he puts it towards your neck.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
oh, he's one of those. Once it goes towards your neck, you're like, oh God.
Oh, don't I know? Don't
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know?
and he always used to have this, like this straight face, like not so much like Ben, but now that I've got to know him, I really like him a lot. I get a kind of laugh out of him now, and because I'm a bit
Oh man.
because I'm a bit quirky, it's
Yeah.
yeah. But I remember, when I did start jiu-jitsu, and I thought to myself, oh my God, when I walked out, what did I just experience? It was like, especially someone who's going through depression and anxiety. And I used to take medication for anxiety, and I no longer do, by the way.
Oh wow. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu got you off of that medication. Holy
Well,
cow.
long time ago, I did, but my anxiety I don't experience anymore. But it was like when I walked out, it was like this sense of euphoria, something that I hadn't experienced before. It was like
Wow.
I was like on cloud nine. It was like, because I'm someone who thinks a lot and
Mm.
my mind is constantly busy. at least with jiu-jitsu, when you're there, you're focusing. You don't have
Yeah.
time. You don't have
Yeah.
time to think about anything else. You know, when
Not your
you're going
day or
through the
anything else. Yeah.
yes, that's right. And when you're sparring, you kind of thinking about that. You're kind of focusing, and then when you leave, your head and your body. And you got to see me. I mean, I've got to be careful when I'm driving home. I am so relaxed driving home. I'm like,
Oh, really?
oh God, pay attention to the. Lucky I drive home at night time when there's not too much traffic.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. I said to Ben, oh my God, sign me up. Where has this been all my life?
Oh man. Now, are you the oldest female in there?
Yes. But you
Okay.
know what? I've never focused on age until people tell me, oh wow, 52 and doing jiu-jitsu. But as I said,
Oh, yeah.
because I've always kept fit since
Yes.
a young age, I mean, now and again, it's funny. I do get body aches, but I never associate it with age. I always associate it from being active. Or
Okay. Getting beat up in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. Yeah. You'll get a lot of those kind of aches.
and bruises. I'm constantly
Oh,
because I'm someone that bruises very easily. I'm always
yeah.
just bruised and nails. I used to love no longer have piercings. One thing I can't part with is my nose ring, but I
Then
do take that off. But my
okay, so it
earrings,
doesn't close up or anything, so you can
no.
put the ring back in there.
But
Yeah.
my earrings are gone, but I can always put those back in. But my nails, I always used to get my, false nails. But I would give up anything for jiu-jitsu. It's my life
Wow.
now.
So now you don't have any girly nails and all that now. They just
No,
raw
no,
it off.
no. It's something funny happened yesterday. A couple of us girls were gas bagging, and Ben, he's like the godfather that sits across the mats, and Joe, Ava, and myself were talking about nails, and one girl had her nails painted. It was really good. I've got my toenails painted. It's like this bright blue. It's really cool. And
Oh
I
my
said, my
goodness.
nails are falling apart because I can't wear false nails. And we're talking about nails. And I said, yeah, I'm going to get mine. You know, I won't get false nails, but I'll get shellacs done on it. And Ben's like,
Yeah.
hey, girls, you jiu-jitsu girls now. You can't have nails, So.
I love it. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. That is awesome.
But,
Now, jujitsu. So you joined jujitsu say about the last 6 months or so.
yeah.
Now, what was you when you first walked on the mat? Let's see. I know you said earlier when you left the mat, you felt like euphoric and everything. What were you thinking when you first walked into the mat? Was somebody brand new to this, and you're watching this stuff go on in class? What were you thinking?
I'm someone that's up for a challenge. I'm
Okay.
someone that if anything's new and someone could show me if someone's there with me to show me how it's done, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll give this a go. And
Yeah.
and of
Yeah.
course, as I said, that close friend of mine who's been doing it for a while, obviously I've spoken to him about it, and he
Yeah.
was telling me, and obviously he was telling me how it's benefited him in many ways, in mental and physical health. So
That's
definitely,
cool.
and that friend of mine has been such a big inspiration for me in starting jiu-jitsu, and I thank him very much. And he's always been
Wow.
one of my biggest supporters, and I really thank him so much for um, introducing me to jiu-jitsu. But he always says to me, no, don't give me the credit. You did it. You're the one that gets your ass there every day. So
That's right. Good point. Very good point. Now he's from the States also, right?
mm,
What part of the States is he from?
um I, he lives in Florida now, so
Oh,
yeah,
okay, Florida.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Florida's a good place to be. That's
Mm,
good stuff, man.
mm,
Wow. Now, let me ask you. I know
mm,
you said now. How does your well, I'm gonna act like I don't know this, but
yeah.
how does your husband feel about you doing this?
Um. Well, as you're aware,
Hmm.
I'm going through a divorce at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, he's initially he's like, "Oh, that's great. You found something to do," but I would love to be with someone that also shares my passion. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean?
I know
So,
exactly what you mean. Nope, I get it.
you know, and for him, it's like, yeah, yeah. And, I come home and I try and talk, but it goes through one ear and out the other. So
Ah,
I pretty much keep it to myself. So I just basically speak to my friends what I do.
oh wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
But as
gosh,
I
that's
said, my divorce should be final in um, a month's time. But yeah,
okay.
but as I said, I've got very supportive friends and so on. So starting
Yeah.
a new life. Yeah.
How long
So
have you been going through a divorce, if you don't mind me asking? How long have you been going through it?
um, well, for me personally, my marriage ended many, many years ago, but
Mm,
I stayed in the marriage because I wanted to, make sure my son was at a good age before I left.
mm,
Even though I
okay.
was unhappy, as I said, being a Turkish mother,
Yeah.
I couldn't just leave. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. I know
I
exactly
kind
what
of
you mean.
bared with it, but once my son turned 18, but which my husband knew, I mean, the marriage ended. We just existed. Um,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
the thing is, we just grew apart. We're just too different. I mean, when you get married many years ago, you're a different person then
Yeah.
what you are now. Some people change, and, I'm kind of looking for something. I'm not saying I'm looking for someone. I'm just
I know what
saying,
you mean.
uh, you know, just something different in life.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm more of a, you know, I just want a simple life where life with him is very complex and chaotic.
Mm,
Where,
okay.
yeah, where I'm very kind of laid back type of a person. I just kind of what I wanted to do, as you're aware, I'm getting help with nutrition, and I've
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
personal trainer at the moment. So hopefully, like next year, I'll go back to part time work. But
Okay.
as I said, for me, I just want to, just focus on, bettering myself as a person, as in, going back to part time work, getting healthy mentally and physically, jiu-jitsu, close friends.
Yeah.
I don't want too many friends, just close friends. And for me, I'm not going to be one of these divorce. Like, I'm someone that gets along well with men better
Yeah.
than women. So I'm not going to be one of these bitter divorced women that's going to join some
It's a woman
divorce,
hating, men
you know,
hating club.
and bag of, why should I waste my valuable energy on some person and talk about, oh, he was this and he did that with this. I'd rather be rolling and, doing jiu-jitsu and going to the gym instead of wasting my afternoon sipping coffee and talking about what a narcissist my husband did.
I know exactly what you mean. It's, I
What?
think it's so fascinating how, I'm always fascinated about people's backgrounds and seeing, like you're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I want to, you never know what people are going through. Like you said, you just see someone on the mat and hey, let's roll. You're not thinking about your day. You're not thinking about the stresses. And it's just amazing. You're going through, you have you're beating, I should say, an eating disorder. You're working on nutrition. You're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You're going through a divorce and all that together, and you're still trying to stay active out there. That's huge.
Yes.
That's amazing. And that blows my mind. And you never know who's on the mat with you in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You never know.
No,
You never
no.
know. Now you say you do nutrition classes too, or you not classes. You have someone coming in and give you a nutrition.
Well,
Uh,
yes, I met someone at Jiu-Jitsu, Michael,
oh, there you go.
who's a personal trainer and who's a nutritionist. So I approached, once I knew what his career, what his what he does for a living, I approached him and I said, Michael, this is, what's happening with me, and would you like to help me out? And yeah, so it's been wonderful. So I go to the gym, so I've got a set program. So I have put on, see, when I started jiu-jitsu, I was about 47 kilos. Now I've gone up to about 60 kilos. But what happened?
Wow.
Well, the weight gain was because I was so happy, because jiu-jitsu brought so much happiness in my life. It happened so quickly that I did it without guidance as such. But
Okay.
when I was speaking to my instructor, Ben, he was saying, "Oh, Mercy, your body needed it. That's why it happened so quickly." But I don't know. But Michael's helping me with. I'm at the gym. Well, I'm at jiu-jitsu about 3 times a week, and then I'm at the gym for the remainder of the week. So I've got a set program of resistance. So what I tend to, because when I was anorexic, it was all about, burning calories and doing cardio upon cardio upon cardio. So it was almost being a slave, and it was so exhausting. I was mentally drained. It was just living as a prisoner. Now I feel free, because no longer am I counting calories, no longer am I spending hours in front of the mirror, no longer am I judging my body. Now I'm thinking about is, how can I get stronger? How can I become healthier? And as I said, for me now it's stronger, not skinnier. Nutrition, not counting calories.
Wow. And in a short time, you put on some weight in a short period of time too.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
Oh my
but
gosh.
see, I must admit that was my fault, because what happened was, because for so many years I haven't been eating. What happened was, when I started to become happy and I found food, and all of a sudden it was it wasn't mindful eating. I was just pretty much just eating, because it was like, oh my God, I haven't been eating for years. Let me just eat, So that's
Yeah.
why
Okay.
that's why I had to approach and get professional help, because I can't do this on my own. You
Right.
can't. You can't. You
Right.
need guidance. I mean, as much as I know about nutrition, health, and fitness, because this has been my life since I was quite young. I remember getting my first gym membership when I was 14 years old.
Oh man. Wow.
You're doing aerobics back in those days and doing the gym.
Oh yeah. The Jane Fonda workouts and all that.
Yeah, then I joined this. I remember joining this gym years ago. When I was like 18 years old, there was this bodybuilder, Australian bodybuilder, that opened up this gym, and he was much older. He had retired, but he opened up this old fashioned rundown gym. But all the bodybuilders used to go there because it was just like this simple equipment,
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah. Yeah.
fancy. It was like this, you just your average dumbbells and stuff
Yep.
like that. But it was so good. He used to just have these amazing stories. But it was one of those low key gyms, but it was so cool to go to. I used to.
Oh man.
It was,
Those old school like Arnold Schwarzenegger gyms and stuff like that
yes,
with
it was
just
like one of
hardcore stuff.
those,
Yeah.
where all the bodybuilders used to go. It was just like one of these, and it was run by a retired Australian bodybuilder, but it was so good. I used to love going there. So, yes,
Oh
and,
man.
and my dream as a girl was to be, instead of becoming a princess, I wanted to be a female bodybuilder.
Oh really?
Mm,
Is that still one of your goals? You still got plenty of time to hit it.
um, I would like to get toned, but I no longer want to be a female bodybuilder.
Okay. That
I
dream
would,
done
I,
left a
I
little
would
bit.
like to have a nice physique, but I wouldn't want to put that pressure on myself.
Yeah, that is a lot of pressure. That's a
Yes,
lot of
I
pressure.
want to kind of move away from that because I don't want to go from an eating disorder to another. I'm just kind of enjoying going to the gym and doing jiu-jitsu and eating healthy at the moment. So, yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Now, the nutritionist, does he have you on like a strict diet?
No, no, no. So it's very, very basic. We're taking it very easy. We're not going full on at the moment. So what we're basically working with at the moment is just mainly focusing on resistance training. But
Okay.
because I was someone that wasn't big on proteins.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've just started to introduce protein into my diet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing. So, and I've realized um, it's made me feel a lot better because I'm not as hungry. I've
Mm-hmm.
got a lot more energy and so on. So yes, I would never claim that I'm a vegetarian, but meat for me. Well, you know what? Being a Turk, right? There's something about meat and Turks. When I was a kid, it was bloody lamb. My father
Really?
cooked lamb all the time. It's like, oh God, and and the thing is, my sisters are saying we can't stand red meat. It's like my dad is,
Really?
yeah. Can you imagine having lamb all the time? And so what is it with barbecues and Turks and it's like there's kebabs and so it's not like I don't. It's just like you kind of get sick of it, but I would like to introduce it back. But I'm telling you, my dad's barbecues, especially where my parents come from in Turkey, it's called Adana, and
Mhm.
they're known for all their spices. It's the climate in Adana is very hot, so they're very much like the Mexican type. So that's where all the spices are, the chilies
Okay.
are, and stuff like that. And my dad with the meat, he used to like marinate it really nice with a hot pepper and so on.
Oh my God.
I
That's
remember, can I tell you this funny story?
yeah.
As kids, coming from an ethnic family, one of our Australian friends invited us for a barbecue, and or we had to go to a barbecue, and everyone had to bring their own, So the typical Aussie kids would just have their snags. Do you know what a snag is?
No, what's
Oh,
that?
sausages, right? Like
Okay.
basic sausages and just plain looking meat, and us Turks, my dad had marinated these meats with all these, and we kind of rock up there with all these, and they're like, what the hell is that?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, in Australia, we call sausages snags.
Snags. Oh, some snags. Oh my gosh. So you eat a lot of lamb. Is that what you're telling me now? No, I'm just joking.
Lamb, beef, and obviously coming from a Muslim background, I didn't eat pork, wasn't raised
Yeah.
to eat pork, but obviously when I married a Christian,
The pork came out.
well, the thing, bacon, I like bacon, but I still can't do like a roast lamb, not roast lamb, a roast pork, or just,
Oh
or,
yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that. I just still can't stomach. But anything like on a pizza, like pepperoni or salami or those kind of things, I can
Yeah.
eat. So it's more for me. It's more texture
Okay, yeah.
than anything else. But yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, being in a Muslim family, like we weren't, like my mother never wore. My mother's family, we came from quite a liberal. My mother's side was quite liberal
Mhm.
Muslims. None of them wore the head covering or anything like that. But
Oh, okay.
where my father's side did. So my mother was a city girl, and my
Mhm.
mother and father met at school. My father was like from the country, so my mum said when she kind of got married to my dad. So with the Turkish culture, when you get married to the man, you have to move in with his mother and
Mm.
his side, and you as the new bride have to look after his parents and
Oh,
him.
really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Mm. So my mum
Wow.
had to do that. So basically, it's even here we've still got some family friends where, some of my mum's, or some of the younger, women are still living with their in-laws where they will look after their husband's mother till they basically die or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a form of respect. So my mum said that she had a really hard time because she was a city girl and they didn't like the way she dressed because my mum was kind of like wore the modern outfits because that's where she was brought up.
Yeah.
To
Oh, man.
do.
Did his side of the family not like that too much?
No, they didn't. But my mother's a very placid, even though my mum's quite strong, but I think that's when she was younger, see, I'm actually like that too. I pretty much keep to myself, but if someone pushes me and pushes me, then I can, that nasty side can come out.
But you're so tiny. How can you do all that screaming and being mad? Like, she's so tiny. She can't do anything. Well, let me ask you something. Being at your age, being some of the things that you've gone through, what kind of advice would you give somebody thinking about getting into any kind of fitness, trying to get their lives together? And if they're starting at your age, you know what I mean? If you're starting at our age, advice would you give a lady or guy or anybody saying, I'm going to get into martial arts. I'm going to get to better. I'm going to get to eating better. I'm getting to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What would you suggest they do?
Just don't overthink it or overcomplicate it. Do your research. Have a good support network, or get together with like women, for instance. If you got girlfriends, go for a walk, just move, go for a walk
Yeah.
together. Or if you want to get into martial arts, I'm aware that a lot of women tend to go for karate or
Hmm.
taekwondo. Go to your local BJJ Academy. They really want women there, and they're very supportive of having, they really look after you. Like if you were to come to our academy, we'll look after you,
Right.
and like, there's nothing to fear. People think, some of the guys would bring their, girlfriends there, and I would say, hey, why don't you guys come and join us? And they're like, oh, my face, oh, this, oh,
Ah,
that. But no.
yeah.
But for a woman of my age, look, there's so many benefits, especially for women who are going through menopause and perimenopause. It
Yeah.
just keeps you healthy mentally and physically because, to be quite honest, I haven't gone through, surprisingly, I'm in my 50s, but I haven't gone through full menopause. But
Oh, wow.
yes, but the thing is, physically, I think because I might be still quite young, because even though I've gone through, the eating disorder and that, but I've always been active and I've always looked after myself regardless. But
Okay. Yeah.
if you do, exercise and uh, eat your protein and not overcomplicate it, you would see the
Okay.
benefits mentally and physically. And for women, in their 50s, even if you got a couple of girlfriends, just go for a walk on a nice day instead of sitting around gas bagging about what your ex-husbands did.
I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
Just
Yes, I
go
do.
to the gym, or do jiu-jitsu. There's nothing to fear. I mean, the academies are dying to have more women. You would be
Yeah.
quite surprised that it is so much, I'm not trying to be biased, but it is
No.
so much better than doing Taekwondo or karate. The benefits are just outstanding. Mentally, I couldn't achieve much or physically through Taekwondo or, but doing BJJ has pretty much saved me and changed my life. As I said,
Wow.
I haven't been depressed or anxious for a very long time. So,
Wow.
it's, and for some reason, I never really focused on my age when I joined up, and then until everyone kept on reminding me, and I thought to myself, hang on a minute, the the female that's kind of closest to my age is 20 years younger than me. It's like, hang on. But see, but that's the way I've always gone through life. I'm someone that goes thinks, what is my body capable, or what am I capable of doing, instead of thinking, oh, I'm at this age, can I really do it? It's not, I don't care. I'm very much a motivated person. Once something's on my mind, you can't stop me.
That's awesome. I tell you, when I first met you, I thought the same thing. She can't be 52. There's no way you're that age. I mean, not saying 52 is forever old, but it's just one of those things. I was like, man, this girl's active. She's doing everything. Then once I found out everything you're doing, I'm thinking, this girl's amazing. And just listen to you now. Wow. You know what, Mercy? I tell you.
You would think I'm high or something. No drugs. Fine on love. Can you believe it that I'm going through recovery? I'm going through a divorce with a whinging ex-husband to be. He's like a whinging woman every day, and I still keep a positive outlook on.
Oh my gosh! And the crazy thing about it, you guys still live in the same house, right?
Well, the thing is, because it's a big house, it's a 3-story house. I've got a living quarters to myself. So
good.
basically, I've got my own room, my own living area, own TV, but I should be moving out within a couple of months. So can't wait for that, to start my own life.
I bet you can't.
Just to lead a simple, stress-free, peaceful life. Jiu-jitsu, gym, health, and hopefully love.
Well, I've known some matches that have been made at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I tell you that for sure. You never know. You might be choking some guy out, and it might be your next guy.
Someone that shares my passion, that I can, talk about jiu-jitsu and talk about UFC and stuff.
Trust me, you'll find them with your personality as strong as you are. Oh yeah, and once you tell a guy that you know how to cook and clean and everything else, and you're willing to do all that,
I can do all those too.
You'll have them fast. Well, I tell you, Mercy, this has been awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. Oh man, you've been amazing, guy. I tell you. Now, Mercy, where are you? What's the name of your gym out there again? Because I want to see if people know you can find you out there in Melbourne, Australia.
Carlson, Gracie, Australia. Carlson, Gracie Academy, Australia. The best.
Awesome.
And it's Ben Hall.
Ben Hall, gotcha. He's the guy who we're gonna blame him for you.
Yeah, you do that.
That's awesome. Well, guys, that's been Mercy Sozan. She's amazing. If you didn't get a chance to hear all that, I mean, she's an amazing lady. And I tell you, Mercy, I appreciate you. We got to get you on again sometime down the road after you're divorced and all that good stuff.
God, that sounds like.
It's gonna be our mission to find you that guy. No.
Oh, God, help.
All right, you have a great evening or a great day, because we're evening here is day there.
It's 1:30 for us in the afternoon.
Oh wow, and it's 10:30 our time here. So you have a great day. You go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and choke somebody today. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right,
Tony.
you take care.
Bye.
You're more than welcome. Take care. Bye now.
Oh man.